ongoing efforts aimed at restoring order and safety across troubled communities. Yet beneath these narratives, a troubling question has begun to surface among citizens, activists, and observers. Are vulnerable youths from impoverished ghetto communities being systematically exploited under the guise of crime control? This concern stems from a pattern that some believe is too consistent to ignore. Reports and community accounts describe young men, often teenagers, being pursued or hounded by unknown or unidentified adults, sometimes resulting in fatal shootings. What raises alarm is not only the frequency of these incidents but the outcomes. Many of the victims reportedly die either en route to the hospital or shortly after arrival. For grieving families and skeptical onlookers, these recurring circumstances prompt deeper suspicion. At the heart of the issue lies a stark social reality. Many of these youths come from deeply disadvantaged backgrounds, communities marked by poverty, displacement, and limited access to social support. A significant number grow up without stable parental guidance, often forced to navigate life independently from an early age. With minimal institutional intervention, they become easy targets, not only for recruitment into crime but, as some fear, for more sinister forms of exploitation. One of the most serious and controversial allegations emerging from these discussions is the possibility of organized organ harvesting. Though concrete evidence remains scarce and such claims are difficult to verify, the theory persists in certain circles that criminal networks, possibly operating under the cover of legitimacy, may be targeting marginalized youths for their organs. These alleged groups are often described as white-collar actors, individuals or organizations that appear respectable on the surface but may be engaged in illicit activities behind closed doors. Supporters of this theory argue that the consistent deaths before or shortly after medical intervention raise red flags. They question whether proper investigations are being conducted and whether transparency exists within the healthcare and law enforcement systems. The lack of detailed public reporting in some cases only deepens mistrust. However, it is critical to approach such claims with caution. Allegations of organ harvesting are extremely serious and require substantial, verifiable evidence. Without it, there is a risk of inciting panic and undermining trust in essential institutions. At the same time, dismissing community concerns outright can further alienate already marginalized populations who feel unheard and unprotected. What remains undeniable is the vulnerability of these young people. Regardless of the validity of the organ harvesting claims, the pattern of violence against youths in impoverished areas points to systemic issues that demand urgent attention. Poverty, lack of education, limited opportunities, and social neglect create an environment where exploitation of any kind can thrive. To move forward, there must be greater transparency in how incidents involving young victims are handled. Independent investigations, improved community care packages, and stronger oversight of both medical and law enforcement institutions could help rebuild trust. Equally important is investment in social programs that support at-risk youth, providing education to Jamaican street youths and mentorship, and pathways out of poverty. The question remains open, but one thing is clear. When society's most vulnerable begin to disappear under troubling circumstances, silence is not an option.